Good morning, everyone. Hope you're well. Back again with the 10 at 10s, which I'm really enjoying. I have to say, all of the people that we're just doing the 10 at 10s with, I realised this morning they're all actually, they've never ever done this before. So they're doing a really good job. So no pressure today to Lou. Let me just get her to request, and there we think we are ready to go. Hopefully no problems like we had yesterday, but that's the joy of IT. Hello, Dad, you all right?
Yeah, yeah, requested. I'm like, I'm going to be.
I always have that little bit of, something's going to go. Yesterday we had a couple of yes, connection issues.
My heart is going like, I can feel it. That little bit of nerves.
I have to laugh. My lovely neighbour next door, Jan, said to me, "Your nose is very shiny," and it is. And it's just nothing I could do. I tried to smile. I don't know what to do about it. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. Light ultimately, it's where the light's hitting you. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, I always have to sit here in the same place, because once I tried it in the side, I was doing Poetry and Petals, and we were doing a live, and I thought I'd sit in the side bit to our kitchen, and it's really hot, and I was next to the heating was on, and I was absolutely sweltering. So I always have to do it in here. So there we go. Anyway, if you could please introduce yourself and tell us what you make and sell.
Yeah, I'm Lou Bailey, and I have I call it my side hustle, which is Florianna. Florianna has started with candles, and well, actually, before candles, fragrance into candles, and hopefully, I can now start diversifying a little bit. But that's kind of, yeah, I've kept it small because it's a side hustle, and I work full time. I have another job, so I have to, watch myself, because I'm known for overcommitting. My husband's always complaining at me for overcommitting, so I'm learning.
Cool. And it's all about learning, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, such a learning curve. It really is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why did you set up your business, and how did you come up with your business name?
Well, a lot of the roots of my business are, well, certainly lots of the inspiration is Malta and Gozo. So most people have heard of Malta. My mother is from the island of Gozo, and fewer people have heard of Gozo. But if you've been, it's kind of a Marmite place. You either love it or you hate it, I
Right.
think.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, it's tiny, it's rustic, it's, in my eyes, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So inspirational. And I was so lucky because as a child, I got to spend 2 months every year in beautiful, hot, sunny Gozo. So, and pulling from all the relationships, I mean, I have about 20 cousins. They're not all there now. But yeah, all those memories, all the smells. I mean, back in, when I was very young, my nana was alive, and her house, at that point, we were early 70s, really. We didn't get herbs we get now, Jason.
Yeah.
Basil in particular. We didn't get that then. It's so regular now. She used to grow these in her garden, and she used to have fig trees and lemon trees and all the smell of the child. Yeah, it's very much. I know Jo Malone talks about that. She talks about her
Sure.
travels,
Yeah.
things from her travels. And yeah, it's so true. They're very strong. Fragrance can really pull on a lot of those. But coming back to Florianna,
Yeah.
Florianna is the name of a beautiful botanical garden in Malta, and it's quite near Valletta. I haven't been many times, but it's, again, because a lot of what I use, it tends to pull on flowers and nature, and
Sure.
all of the stuff that nature gives. Yeah, that's kind of where the name had come from, and I sort of toyed with a number of different names, and that seemed to be the right one. And at the time, I could have it in terms of .com, because that's
Yeah.
also important.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
yeah, so yeah, and then did you ask the question why did I
Yeah.
create it?
Why? Yeah. Why did you come up with that business name? Yeah.
Well, I created it, this kind of started in my mind probably about 5 years ago, and that I was kind of struggling with a few things, mental health in particular. I mean, I've
Yeah.
always had anxiety, but it was a particularly, to say, dark time in my life. There was a lot of things. I'd come out of a great career, 25 years, did something really creative, really loved it, traveled the world. Um, then I had my daughter, and we did a lot of things all at once. We moved, quite stressful things.
Yeah.
And think just a number of different things. I did suffer with a bit of depression. I think sometimes you don't know when you're in it, but looking
Yeah.
back,
Yeah.
and this was a healing thing actually. Again, wasn't really aware of that at the time. I had to start. I just stuff came out, creative stuff started coming out.
Yeah.
Started toying with, pottering around with my essential oils and mixing and making, and then I did a bit of skincare, and that developed into this and that and that, and kind of led me to candle making.
Yeah.
And that's where I went, oh, I just love this, and made them for myself. Then that Christmas I made them, you know, all the family and friends had to suffer a candle. You will have a candle.
Definitely.
I complain. So
Yeah.
kind of from dark to light, maybe it's quite a nice
Yeah.
way, I guess. So yeah, it's healing, and still is healing, really.
Yeah. And I kind of love what you just saw. Almost what all that you were saying there was those kind of. So your business was set up of a love of your childhood to bring back those memories and those smells. And also, if you are feeling depressed and things like that, that you're making something, but then afterwards you've got something that's going to make you feel really good. And you light a candle. I mean, we do, and it just doesn't it? It's something that smell, what it evokes, and
Yeah,
it's very true. And
so
very
that,
weird just here talking about your story. Rob's actually been to where you were from, so that's quite bizarre. I never knew that. There we go.
okay.
There we go.
On my powerful team holiday there regularly. Great, fantastic. But it's something normally Gozo is people holiday in Malta and they pop across on the ferry because it's a nice little ferry ride. You pop across to Gozo, you sort of spend the back. Yeah. And then some people then think, oh, I love that. And then they go and stay. And yeah.
It's like with anywhere going away, isn't it? I love the kind of, I mean, like Geneva. I love Geneva, but I love the old town. It's just so quiet, it's just beautiful. And wherever we go away, it's we don't like to sit, you know, in the pool. It's finding all those beautiful old villages and with history, isn't it? Which is lovely. And there's usually every time we go away, I don't know why, I just love to go to a church as well. It's just something very humbling. Yeah.
Whoever Gozo is unique in so much as each village. So imagine it's this time. Imagine the Isle of Wight, right, as a side.
Where I'm from.
Isle of Wight having a massive cathedral. Okay, every village has this huge cathedral. Like you just don't get that here. Yes, we have our little churches. I mean, I'm actually not. I'm atheist. I'm not religious, but like you, I love going in because you get the incense dark, and you get. You know, they're normally full of something, aren't they?
Yeah, it is, yeah. And you don't have, it's like always as well, you know, when we go, it's like kind of lighting a candle. And the candle, God, it's like just talking about the candle, how that, when we go somewhere, we will always light a candle for those people that aren't no longer with us. And it's just really lovely, isn't it? It's not necessarily a religious thing. And then you're taken with the, you know, the architecture and everything. So whereabouts are you based, and where's your kind of workspace that you make all your candles and everything?
Well, I'm based in Reigate, and my workspace is a little dream in my head. My lovely, I dream, Jason, of a shed in the garden where left alone. I mean, often we joke, don't we? It's the man in the shed, and we go, no, it's I need to have a space down. No, it's not. I'm not living the dream. Not quite living the dream yet.
No.
So I work in where I'm sitting. It's like it's a diner, but we have an open plan space, so it's lounge diner. So normally I'm getting told off when I'm like warehouse manager mode. I'm told rustling with the boxes. Stop! Oh, it's all rustling, and so I get that. I rarely get left on my own really because I'm working. So I'm kind of doing this at the weekend. Now's lovely because school holidays, but anyway, this is bliss right now. And then I'll go to the kitchen, and I'm still at the point where I use my microwave. So literally there I go along with my jugs, jugs. Got to the point of one of the sort of good wax melters yet. That's that's in my part. Got to dream big, as Ellie Jane says. So I'll potter in there, potter back, and then I'll mostly use this space here. But space being the operative word really, Jason, because you know, sort of dabbled in lots of candles. Whether you start in candles, there's a lot of equipment suddenly grows around you. You need the basics, but then ultimately you've got to have your box of wax comes in, your packaging comes in, you got your fragrance bits and bobs going on, all this, and they have to go somewhere. And when you make your stock, and again, you know, any of us crafters know that we have to sort of find a place for stock. You're not going to go and sell everything. You don't sell out the market and come home with absolutely nothing. So space again. So yes, there's this dream. I'll move the house and have the space, have the posh shed in the garden. But for now, I make do.
You could dream. Yeah, and it's funny, isn't it? The space thing of, you know, when you have something, because you usually make in bulk and things like that, and you know, with us now, with the, you know, t-shirts, candles, you know, all of that, there's so much, and so totally always reorganizing what can I fit in. So I you know, the other day, because we had the promo shoot, and I kind of emptied everything, which was great. Like, oh, it all needs to go back in now, but I kind of sorted it and moved the bits around.
Feel your pain too.
In
fact, I organised it because I had stuff everywhere, a bit in this cupboard, a bit upstairs, and then so I reorganised the little shed that I do have. It's a little, tiny little. You can't. Well, you know, you probably. Here you go. Can you see? I'm living with a bike around me because there's no room for the bike. Because I've taken. Sorry, can I just interject? Because I've just seen a message from Fluff SJ. Hi, SJ. She's put Topino, wonderful church in Gozo, my fave. Topino is my fave too, so that's just lovely. I love that.
There we go. We'll have to go on a curated holiday, won't we? We'll get everyone
together. Gosh, can you imagine? What would we like?
Oh God, and you know, and hopefully later, you know, that's what I'd love to do, is get all of us Curated guys one evening or something. I was going to do it last year, obviously it wasn't meant to be, but it would be so lovely to all meet socially, because half the time when we're at events, we're doing the, you know, the selling. I mean, obviously next week we've got a little Zoom chat, which is going to be great, so I'm looking forward to that again. So have you a favourite item to create, and why have you chosen that?
Well, I have a favourite item I've already created. Here, so citrine. So those that haven't seen, this is kind of where my candle started, with this pack of boxed candles, and the candle in it. So I went quite minimal, sort of frosted and minimal. And citrine was the first fragrance I created, and I actually made the fragrance itself, and I think that's why I love it so much. So one of my favourites, I think it's fading, one of my favourite essential oils is bergamot oil, and it's fresh limes, so I mix those, and then it's got lots of tonka bean. So I've got my tonka bean, which lots of people smell similar to vanilla. Lots of so I think this was my favorite because it was absolutely everything. I mean, obviously buying the wax, but it feels like the most original, I suppose. And I had grand ideas of like, Lou the perfumer, way to go. I then subsequently spent months and months. I spent loads of money buying more essential oils, and they kept coming in, and I kept tinkering around, tried them in candles. No. So I kind of, what I do now is I accept that I'm not a trained perfumer. I've worked with perfumers in the past, really inspiring actually, very interesting people. And now I do a combination. So where I find I've made a fragrance and it works for me, then I will use it, but I won't compromise. And because interestingly, a lot of essential oils, they go funny. The smell is in skincare because you're not, they're quite sensitive. They're oils, quite sensitive to heat. So that when you put them in skincare, and that's where I first sort of tinkered in skincare, made face oils and a few different bits. They're gorgeous. You combine them, you think, oh, that's lovely. So I'm like, yeah, great. Let's just pop that in a candle. And of course, once you put it in a candle and you mix it with the wax and you heat it, it smells completely different, really. So, and it's funny because I desperately wanted it to be my bestseller, but interestingly, it's not my bestseller, which is okay. That's fine. You know how we have a bit of a baby, don't we?
Oh God, yeah, definitely, and I suppose with you as well, because the science that goes into it. So it's you're almost a recipe, isn't it? You're putting things into it, seeing how it works, and actually, I need to feed a few more eggs into it. You know, it's a bit like that, isn't it? I need to take that out because that's too salty, or that's not right, and that isn't it, to get your own. And you know, with us, with as you know, with Copper Tops, we have our own you know, and it's lime, mandarin, and rosemary, which we had with our nourishing oil. So Pure Mess was able to help us with the essential, and we were able to then take it to a candle and copper tops, and they say it's the best, that they absolutely love it, and we love it. We just lit another one this week. It's like, yeah, and it's that, you know, the smell is just, and I suppose with you as well, is it what you do, it's easier to be at the events to then people to smell them, because you can't scratch and sniff on Etsy or any of the websites that you're on, can you?
No, no,
Yeah.
and that's where candle making, it's
Yeah.
yeah, want to be there in real life ultimately. It is harder. It doesn't stop. My mum's always amazed. She's like, how can you sell something that you can't even smell? I'm like, yeah, well, people will buy them, but it's just a different thing. It's a
Yeah.
different experience. It really
So,
is, yeah.
so have you been working on anything new this year? And I saw you on Sunday and we were chatting, so I kind of know what
Yeah,
it is. But please
yeah,
share. Yeah.
yeah. So I've launched my tins, so kind of anthropology inspired. So what I did is although my labels aren't quite right, so I'm learning lessons all the time, learning lessons. I was happy with the colours and the overall look, but some of the wording is too small. I mean, I'm quite old now. I have to put my glasses on to read the blooming. But lesson learned. So I'm going to
Yeah.
redo that. No, we're all very much perfectionists as well, aren't we?
Yeah.
But I wanted to introduce, inspired really by, I love the sort of logo thing that goes on, the letters, and my daughter's Freya. So I liked her F, and that fits with F for Florianna. So I've sort of
Yeah.
played the logo idea as well, which I use on as my Instagram logo really. So I've got introduced, I kind of decided that I didn't want to replicate the smells I had in the other can. I wanted to diversify the range and bring in, it's kind of a way of testing out new fragrances without committing to the boxes ultimately, because I have to buy so many. And it obviously ties you up a little financially. So I spent lots of time sort of smelling, selecting, making new fragrances. And I thought, right, I have a couple of seasonals. So I put in the aquamarine and the sunstone as seasonals. And sunstone's gardenia. So again, maybe Gossaton, love it or hate it. Gardenia is very heady. But I had a really nice response actually last weekend to this one. And I've sold about 4. So that seems to be quite a hit. I think people are used to having a sort of sea salt type of thing. So maybe, you know, this doesn't necessarily stand out from the crowd because it's quite regular. And then I've kind of thought, well, what could take me into winter? It seems to be a real thing at the moment for like smoky scents, campfire, bonfire, so I've got very much now going back to SJ, your comment about Tupino and the churches. So going into the churches, smelling churchy smells and the incense and just that. So this is very much inspired by that. So smoky quartz is what it is very smoky. You can smell it on the lid. Does contain incense, lots of sandalwood. This is a particular kind of sandalwood, white sandalwood, which is more smoky ultimately and a bit spicy. And then going even more spicy. We were talking about this one with the cardamom, Jason, weren't we?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I needed something a bit more masculine in the range as well. So yeah, this one's another sandalwood. I'm a big fan of sandalwood. Can you tell?
Yeah. Definitely.
Pop up in lots of fragrances. Bergamot and sandalwood are my 2 top fragrance scents, I should say. So yeah, this one's Santal. I have a favourite perfume called Santal. It's from Le Labo. It's a bit of a niche kind of, I don't know, not everyone's heard of it, I guess. And it's called Santal 33. So this was inspired by that. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with them. And just literally pop over. These arrived, so taking me into Christmas. So I'm going to add in a black tin, so it will sit alongside, and I'm going to do a limited edition Christmas range. So I might do 3 different sort of seasonal type, winter Christmas type scents, and they'll be quite black on black with the rose gold foiling, and so it will all tie in. Yes, I'm quite excited about that because that's my next little venture. And then from there,
sorry, I was just going to say very quickly there as well, one thing in my head was thinking with candles, isn't it? It used to be many years ago that people just go out and buy a candle and it would be for Christmas and it would be of your cinnamon and your apple and all of that sort of, you know what
The
I'm saying without mentioning those
suspect,
brands. Yeah,
suspects,
and
yeah.
it would be that thing where now it's very much about almost you can have candles throughout the seasons and the sea
Mm,
salt and the ones that, so you can have the summer, you can have the autumn, the
yeah.
pumpkin one. And then, Christmas is really kind of big winter, isn't it? The
Mm,
smells and also what's really great was the other day talking to you was, a lot of the times I think with our customers, and I think after maybe doing our workshop that's helped you of like, who is your customers as well?
mm,
Because if you're just focusing on the women, what about the women that go
mm,
home, put a candle on for the husband, and he goes,
mm.
oh, I quite like that, or
Yeah,
I quite like that if it was such and such. And sometimes it might be the husband who's at home, he's working in an office, who might think, I'll just stick a candle on, because that scent is going
yeah,
to chill me out. So it's almost, getting that customer as well, because it's okay for guys to buy candles as well, isn't it? It's, it's a relaxation thing. It's a
yeah.
well-being. So yeah, just
Yeah,
wanted,
it definitely works both
yeah,
because you've got women that really love the more masculine scents
yeah,
as well, and then
yeah.
like you said, vice versa with men who want to buy candles. There's absolutely, nothing.
Yeah.
Yes, great.
Yeah, and I think, isn't it, if a guy now opened up at Christmas and he's got a candle, and it's like, oh, these are the kind of quite masculine smells that I kind of like, then
Mm,
it's the winner, isn't it? Where I think there used to be a bit of a before, because all those smells were just a little bit, the smell of,
mm,
say, cinnamon and apple. That's lovely at Christmas or in a pie, but we guys now as well. If you look at it, we spend a hell of a lot on, aftershaves. You can see it on all the branding there, can't you, and everything. So,
yeah,
the guys really know. And with beard work, the guy that, with the beard oils, all about the different scents and bits that, he has
yeah.
in his oils and all of that. So it all, up to the man as well, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, good stuff. Yeah, it's loads of fun.
Yeah. So we have an we have an ethos. I should know it by now. I keep saying it's to be friendly, creative, and unique. Is there some kind of ethos or saying or anything that kind of you have that's in your branding that you sort of go with?
I don't. It's not necessarily in my branding because I've put
Yeah.
kind of. I've used the sort of, again, maybe that pull on. Ultimately, I very much believe in the love people use things. So if you're kind of know about the minimalists, that's their current book, their current sort of little catchphrase, if you like.
Yeah. Sure.
So is pulled from people in my life. It's the most important thing. But I always come back. This will probably go backwards. It'll probably look the wrong way to everyone.
Yeah.
But for me, my quote is inspiration is everywhere. And
Yeah.
it's, I just kind of live and breathe with that. I find inspiration everywhere, all the time. And I think that's my little quote, really.
Hmm. Right.
My thing, and that has helped me in terms of, because it kind of, I keep kind of moving on and going to different places with this, and it won't always stay the same.
Yeah.
I maybe that pulls from my background. I used to work in retail, and I bought a number of different ranges, and we were always being told, oh, we've got to move it on, we have to move it on now, they'll be bored with that. What's the thing now, what should we move it on to, what, and
Mm.
that kind of drives me all the time. With
Yeah.
that has its back, the downside is I'll get bored very easily. Oh, I've done my
Yeah.
package, I'm over. Hang on, I have people, but the customers haven't really even seen it, Lou. What do you mean you want to move it on already? I'm like, yeah, but that's kind of it's almost like in my DNA to be like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll select and I'll just get the feedback on this, and then I'll tweak it a bit. Just
Yeah.
the creative
But
urge,
the kind of thing, isn't it, that you say about the moving on, but there's still there are people that will go back and that's run out and I'll go and
Yeah,
buy that. I, for one,
yeah,
one of my scents that I love wearing is Obsession for Men. And I've been wearing it for a few years. I've
yeah.
been wearing it since I was 17. And I had a bit of we were in Debenhams before it closed, and one of the ladies at Rob knew, and she said that they were actually discontinuing it. And I was like, oh my God. So I kind of stockpiled on it. I've got like 2 boxes because I was like, I just can't, it's almost because it's now part of my DNA. It's part of something that I remember of
Yeah.
I remember being
Yeah.
17, and I remember
Yep.
that youth, and I'd
Yeah.
spray it. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not that person anymore, but that smell, and even when
Yeah.
I wear it, people kind of go, "Oh, you smell really nice," and I still get that now from when I did, and it kind of, when I do spray it, it lifts me up. So it's still, but there are other scents I might, I'll try that
Great
because
scent.
I need to try new
Yeah.
things, but there's stuff that you still go back to, isn't it? I like that
Yeah.
candle. I might buy that again because it makes me,
Yeah.
it gives me that sense of well-being,
Yeah.
goodness, isn't it? Yeah, cool.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
what are your goals and dreams for this year?
Well, for this year, I'm staying quite sensible in
Yep.
that I'm really happy that I've kind of had the dream of the new six, and they've come along, and I'm really learning about what people like and getting feedback, and I've already in my head know how that will progress into summer. I've got a couple of, I want to do a fig type, kind of again based on my nana's garden, and a citronella. We use lots of citronella out there, kind of in this range. But for this year, kind of up until Christmas, it's really focusing on what I can do with the limited edition. So, I will do the tins.
Sure.
I've got one fragrance definite. The other two, I'm still like toying. And then I'll try and do some extras with this. So I might do that in my diffuser. I might do some wax, some things, some wax melts maybe.
Yep.
Like I say, come September, life gets so busy for me with family as well,
Yep.
that I have to just not overcommit. And sometimes I have to just reassess my goals and say, Lou, slow down. This is fine because this is enough for this year. Then the other things will be next Christmas. And just, sort of stay. So I'm always putting the brakes on myself to some degree because I can run away with it all. And
exactly. And like you say, it might be you do what you've done, have a break, and then go, I'll do an event in the summer. I've got this amazing summer scent that I want. Now I've got the customers. I need to have it. You've got Gemma there saying that she's looking forward to sniffing your Christmas scents. So there we go. You've got a sniffer already. And that's what's lovely when we do these events, because even us, as when we're all there as exhibitors, we're already excited to find out what have you got, what have you got new. We're also your customers, aren't we? And there's all that support that we'll give each other, and it's great. What do you think of this smell? And hearing from other people is just as important as the customers, which is great.
Yeah, and actually coming back, Jason, to your other question about the ethos, there is, I suppose, that is always ingrained in me, linked to maybe my commitment thing, or say overcommitment fault. We've all got little quirks. It is, for me, it's important that I do less things well rather than too many things, not so well, I guess. Fewer. That always does resonate. When I can feel myself starting to do too many things and not getting the right standards, I pull it all back, because it's a really strong value of mine. It's really important.
And it's so important. I think the word is quality, not quantity. So even like with our events, I could go, and just, like we can get quite a lot more people now into the room. I don't want that. I want to make sure that we still have that quality. And, even this week I've had somebody approach me, and I think she has to look at all the people that exhibit, and I'm not the kind of at home kind of putting a bit of paper on some glitter and then selling it. That's not what we're about. That's a different kind of craft. What we are, and it's hard because we are really, really quality. And I could go, come along, but I think people go, what's that person doing there? Because that's not part of, we are the quality products. And I'll shout it out. Even this morning, Puzzle Mouse put this lovely post up, and it was saying about using Instagram as your shop front, which I thought was really good. But it's also talking about us, as in like yourself. I know that you have a job, but also this is your little, your little part-time little thing that you put your love and passion into it. And obviously us as well as business people, we don't have a shop front, but we work. There's a lot of people out there who work just as hard. And I'm saying here we've got a pop-up department store, and that's what it is. And people come along and they expect quality, and quality, not
Mm.
quantity. So if we've got loads and loads more stallholders, those stallholders still have to be of the quality. So there we
Yeah,
go.
I do. I know I do participate in some of the markets, but so it's maybe easier for me to see. But you can see that when you walk in, you can see
Yeah.
there's a consistency of quality very much. And
Yes.
I'm not saying that for saying its sake. It's very. I think the others would agree. You know,
Yeah.
it very much is. It's a quite a high standard of, and we're all like we're unique. We make things ourselves. It's handmade. And that's why people want to come. That's why people
Yeah.
love. Because they know they're going to find something that isn't going to be found on the high. It's not on the high street. So
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, and last year you had the pleasure of being at our event, and then you were the Christmas you were a customer, and you were loving it, weren't you?
yeah,
I think,
really
yeah, which
loved
is
it.
great.
Because I
And
think there's
that
no frustration, Jason, when you and someone else is saying this to me at the weekend, where um, you know, when you take part in the market, you do have to be on your stall. You're with your customers, and you desperately want to. I'm like looking at it. Oh, I really want to go and see t-shirts or Gemma's little works or whoever. You know, the last one you had, I was June. You had
yeah,
that florist
yeah,
stand. Oh my goodness! And like
festivals, yeah,
beautiful, beautiful. And right
yeah,
very day, just as we were starting to pack up, we did dashed over and I could have a little look. So yeah, when I came as a customer, it was lovely because
yeah,
you could
yeah. She,
experience.
she, she's back as well, and it's just, and that was one thing that I realised as well, that trying to get a top quality florist, and what's great about hers is it's all homegrown, it's beautiful, and I knew that as customers, and also and listening to customers, what is it else do you want, and finding out, so listening and then and finding those people to add to our our curated community. And it's great when even this week, like last week for November, we're up to 50 stallholders, and it's just amazing. There's just people coming on board, and a couple of people have actually, they're doing September, October, and November, and because they love what we're about, and they want to be with like-minded people, which is really
Yeah.
great. So there's and even as I've said, September, we've got 21 brand new businesses with us. 21,
Wow.
which is just which is amazing. Anyway, so who
Yeah.
do you say is your support network? As you said earlier, it's probably the curated people. I know you have you get on with lots of
Yeah.
them as well, don't you? So
Yeah. Community, I really do. I think it's just such a supportive. I mean, in June there was SJ on one side. Hi SJ. It was just like she gave me some advice. She was so right. And I had Gemma. That was lovely. Her pebble work is beautiful. So it's original and fun. And then meeting. I met some new people. I think Georgina and Ellie Jane were new at the time. And then like I say, the florist and the other guys I could see. I didn't get around to everyone. I'd
yeah,
love. There's a lovely jewellery girl who I bought a piece from as well. Loved her work, but as I say, you just got to concentrate on your being
yeah,
good
yeah.
on your stall and working with your customers. So they're really important. And then my husband doesn't have a choice; he has to support me.
Comes in with all the boxes, all those poor guys that we see. They come
Yeah,
in, put that there, off they go. They're back up at 4 o'clock, and they're home.
I went and bought a steak car so you can get candles in the back.
Yeah, that's it.
Will pick me up, yeah, and whatever, come rain or shine,
Yeah,
it's really, and my daughter's always smelling them and giving me her opinion, and then neighbours and friends, obviously, they have been so supportive. Yeah, it's great, really good. And then meeting you guys, you as organisers, and it's really kind of opened up a whole new world. I love it, I really do.
yeah.
It's spiritual home.
And it was lovely what you just said there about when you're there with, the people that you knew. So probably in your range, you can see such. So what we tried to do is with each of our events, you won't be in the same spot. And then
Mm,
that kind of gives you a mix with other people as well, isn't it?
yeah,
Because I don't want people, if they're coming to the next event, and there are some people doing all of the events, and then they're seeing the same, I want the customers to come in and go, oh, is such and such here? Oh, yes, she is, or she's not here, or
yeah,
try and find them. So it
yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean because you're in that spot, unless people are specifically asked, and that
Mm,
is if their special requirement is I want to be there. Somebody has asked for it. There's actually, out of all of them, one person for September, and they're back there, and they are suited there, but mixing it around as well, which is really good. So yeah. So what events? I think we sort of said what events you're doing. Tell us what events you're doing this year.
So I'm doing September.
Yep.
I'm not going to do any other events, Dapper and Suave events. I mean, I think it's quite also important, I think, to think about, that I'm learning is, the challenges as well involved, especially in a business like this with candles, because, I completely get, you need choice and you can't have three candles. But candles are, like for most of us, Christmas is our best time.
Sure.
So there's always, I'm up against that challenge kind of always, and I'm learning, and I'm going to do, I booked in to do an online market in November. Actually I've got two onlines. And again, that makes it a bit easier for me to manage with my job as well. I don't have to sort of take the stock anywhere. And what else? There's something else going on, or maybe it's, the other one is a potential. So I might have a potential outdoor. We're hoping, fingers crossed. But if it comes, brilliant. If it doesn't, that's fine, because I'll be doing other stuff. There's always the Christmas after. The Christmases will never. Well, fingers crossed, we won't have them taken away again. We've got to just hope, and things will improve. So so I'm taking it, as I say, taking it easy for now and not going crazy, and just learning all the time.
And that is, it's as well what you just said there as well, with us understanding that we can't, if we were to look at all our candle makers and go, right, we'll have all of you there, the customers are just going to find, and it's like with jewelry, isn't it? We've now really delved into that, so we have the proper, so we don't want to have like all of the jewelers that do the same thing. They all have to have something different and individual. So as a person, like somebody had mentioned they wanted to be somewhere different in the room, but they did really well in September, or in June. But I thought to myself, but actually, if you're coming to look for something, when you go shopping, you don't just go to the first shop, do you? You'll go in there, you'll go and have a look somewhere else, you'll go back. You know what it's like when you're looking for something particular. And I think people will kind of browse and shop, and and that's
Yeah, but on the flip side, I think that challenge is great for me creatively, because I'm always thinking, well, how can I then be different? So I know you guys work with Copper Top and other people, and so it's important that I've got to stay true to my brand, but I want to also be different in so much as still offer something unique, or like that's why the sort of black tins coming in, and I've got some other ideas. When I do my diffusers, I add in dried flowers to make them like a bouquet diffuser, because no one's doing that. And they're the things that will, stand out. And it might mean that you will have me alongside somebody else, because we're so different.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's important.
Yeah. And it gives you a chance to, as well as a stallholder, to shine as well, isn't it? Because at least then you can, and you will know, for instance, Lucy from Inzo, and she's Inzo Candles, but probably straight away is, what you need to do, and she needs to do, is look at what you're selling, and then see how different you are. But you're not necessarily going to go, well, mine are different to hers because of that. But just you can then play on your unique selling point that we've discussed in the past, and what that is. We're all here and selling to different ways, and we're all different. We're all customers who like different things, different smells. We might, some people might absolutely hate the new black things. Other, the black packaging. Other people might love it. People might like it. They like the copper bit. They might like the fact that it's glass. It's all of that. It's all different courses for horses, or whatever they say. All these sayings are coming. I'm gonna have a load more ethos sayings now, aren't I?
You learn so much from your customers. I spoke to a customer at the weekend, and I hadn't really. Yes, I thought about it, but not in quite the same way. She was saying to me, "Oh yeah, your tins are lovely." She said, "But does the she was talking about sort of light. Does the light come through?" And I went, "Well, no, they're aluminium, so you don't." Oh, what you mean is the glow, the flicker, because the glass
do you? Yeah.
Ambience of that light as well as the fragrance. And she went, "Oh, but that's what I love. I love that. When I have a candle, I want to have the light." And it's so funny. You can run away so excited about an idea, but actually miss the fact that that's really important for people. You can't please everyone, but I suppose for me that's why having glass hopefully, get
It's
it
funny, isn't
right.
it, when you look at a candle. So that's the sort of different thing. When if you were laying a table for Christmas, the candle, it wouldn't be about the scent. It's about the light. It's about the
Yeah,
flame, isn't it? But then
yeah,
people, I suppose, with the flame. But then, is it about a candle that you're getting it because you want the flame, or is it you want the
mm,
scent, but you want both?
mm,
But then, yeah,
mm.
but that's what's great. And people do give you, they do give you feedback. And you were at Artisan Market, and I popped along. And what's great about the
Mm.
Artisan Market is, the Artisan Market takes place when our events do for September, not October, and now not November because we've obviously changed the dates, but Christmas we will. And we're working together so that I can say blah blah blah, such and such is there. And that's what I did the other day, a post just to say that who were there, as in Bodge and Co was there, and Fran and you and that, so
Yeah,
we can then share that to say to people. And also when
yeah,
our events are on, we want people to come to the town and see the high street, because a lot of people,
mm,
believe it or not, come to our events and don't know anything about the Artisan Market, because they
mm.
come from knowing about the cinema. They park up, there they go, they come into there, and then they go back in the car and off they whiz. And they've
Yeah,
come from far
yeah,
afield, but they haven't come from the Guildford way to see that there's a market going on. So we're trying. We're
yeah,
getting the town buzzing again.
yeah, we are. Yeah,
Exactly. And there's lots of good things coming to Dorking, as
yeah.
I know, here and for next. So the last question, God, we've been chatting for ages. I think this might be one of the longest. I think you're beating Ann Turner. And as you said today, you do like to talk, which is good. So I think I've bet my match with you. So why did you choose to work with Dapper and Suave? So people then Dapper and Suave.
I think we touched upon it earlier, didn't we? I think very much because you're handmade. It's all about a sort of level, I guess. With all due respect, I have a lot of respect for crafters, whoever you are, whatever you do.
Yeah.
We're artists at the end of the day, but you're very focused, and you have a very high standard, and that's what I like. And it's superly word, superly well organized, Jason, and everybody really appreciates that. In terms of just keeping us, because I have such a tendency to be, as an artistic type, I'm often very unfocused and get carried away and get like lost in like Alice in Wonderland, down the rabbit
Yeah.
hole.
Yes.
And we need that. And my job used to help me because I had to be hugely disciplined. I had to learn how to do that, and I had no choice. I had to do that. It was harder,
Yeah.
but I did it. But now that's gone, although so it's good. It's that combination, I think, of
Yeah.
I think it's your background. It makes a massive difference. The fact that you're from
Yeah.
retail, you totally get that whole, the whole thing with, you talked about the shop window, talk about the importance of how you interact with your customers, the fact that, ultimately that's how you lay out the stand. I mean, a lot of that stuff I did in a different way with my products. But yeah, so that's why. And I think it's quite nice you're branded as well. I like that, what you do.
Yeah.
It's all good. Yeah, I think they're,
Yeah.
you can be recommended, actually.
Good.
I was today, and it's a lady I worked with initially on some labels, and she'd said to me, oh yeah, there is the one in Dorking. She mentioned, I don't think she mentioned your name, and I had to do some searching around and digging
Yeah.
around. And then, yeah.
Yeah. It's lovely because our name is getting out there now, which is good. And it's as you said earlier, with my background, it's not just it's not just retail before customer service. So that, I think there's a lot that's gone into that. And I love now what I'm doing. I kind of wake up feeling quite lucky, and I look at some people who necessarily go to their jobs and don't enjoy it, and it's a lot, as in financially a bit different, but I'm a lot happier person, and I don't now have to have anyone telling me what to do as such. I'm almost telling you all what to do now, but in a way, but it's almost a profit for everyone, isn't it? And then what will happen is we'll go on to other things, and next year there's some really great things that I've got in the pipeline planned, and it'll just step it up a little bit more, and and keep it. I want to keep making sure that these events are fresh, that people are enjoying them, and if I don't enjoy it anymore, then I think that will come through. So, you know,
Yeah.
that will be, you know, if I'm not enjoying it, then it's over. But I know that there's still a bit of life in me yet. There's still
Oh
a
yeah.
lot more life in me yet. Yeah. Excellent. So tomorrow we're with the lovely Stevie from Pottery à la Carte. And you know her, she was at the Artisan Market as well. So this probably right out of her comfort zone as well. So she's here tomorrow. So we'll be chatting to her all things pottery, which would be really great. Yeah, as I say, all of these details will then go onto, this will be onto our ITGB, pop onto our YouTube channel, which then we do, it goes onto a quick blog. So everyone can then go on and find you. And then they will then find you at the September event. And just to say, everyone, please book your tickets for September. It is still a ticketed event, just to give a lovely flow for the customers and for the exhibitors, to make sure that it's a really nice, you know, throughout the day, it's a nice flow of customers, instead of opening the doors and being beaten with 500 people. I think we'd all freak out, wouldn't we? I couldn't do that to you. So yeah, there we go. Really, really great to talk to you. It's been really great, and have a lovely day, and speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.